Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is my self definition speech. My name is Felicia, and I will be talking about my role as a parent to a child with severe disabilities. My son Wyatt was diagnosed with autism at the age of 20 months old. His primary care doctor and I had significant concerns pertaining to his development, and we were referred to UMass in Worcester. The director there and a pediatric psychologist observed him in his play skills, social skills, and they also interviewed me. And that's when he was diagnosed with autism and other diagnoses. They informed me that he would never speak, that I should focus on activities of daily living skills and getting him to be as independent as possible. They handed me his sheets with his diagnoses, told me to go to the front checkout center at the hospital, and told me to check out and do a follow-up appointment in 6 months with a social worker. At that point in time, I would say that my role as a parent changed forever. I honestly struggled with Wyatt's diagnosis, and my whole entire world essentially revolved around autism and all the changes that happened and came with it. Instead, my world revolved around, therapies from 8 in the morning till 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. He had ABA therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, feeding therapy. He had a developmental specialist come into the house to teach him how to play and to socialize and learn how to play with toys. It was very hard as a parent um, to deal with all these changes. And I think my role was so much more focused on how do I advocate for him now? Because Wyatt is nonverbal and he doesn't speak and he doesn't have a voice. And the only person who has a voice is me. And I have to be that voice for him. And I think a lot of the times people tend to take speaking and their voice in general for granted. And so I've changed my mindset in regards to that, and even as a parent, that communication is completely it's different. It isn't just about speaking. Communication can cover even nonverbal communication, like how our eye contact is or how we gesture. So I learned as a parent that how to deal with changes in regards to his diagnosis in many different ways. I will also say that as a parent, my role changed in, like I said earlier, advocacy. Uh, Wyatt struggled significantly when he was in school, in his elementary school setting, and I felt that he wasn't getting a free and appropriate public education. And advocating for him resulted in me having to make the decision to file with the BSEA in order to get him this the help and the education that he needed and deserved. But that resulted in retaliation against the school district. They unenrolled Wyatt and his two older brothers from their schools, and his two older brothers attended a middle school, and Wyatt attended uh, a elementary school in the school district. At that point, it became more, as I said, me having to advocate for them. And so the school district, when they made their decision to unenroll all the boys, um, it was me having to look up special education laws in different cases. It had resulted in me having to, because I couldn't afford an attorney at the time, it resulted in me having to become their voice in order to maintain them staying in the schools that they were in, that they had friends, in, that they had wonderful teachers. Their life was there. And so I had to file an appeal with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and the school district's attorney filed a response, and then we had to wait for DESE to rule. And DESE ended up ruling in my favor, but the school district was ordered to keep my boys in their schools. And then I was able to mediate further with the school district, in which I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. I had to essentially keep my mouth shut about the school district's behavior towards my son Wyatt in order for him to get out of district placement. I think as a parent, it's extremely hard having to be my son's voice. It's so tiring having to essentially fight and advocate for him in a way that I never thought I would have to do. I do think it's helped me to grow significantly as a parent, but it's hard. It's definitely not easy. So, in general, I think my role as a parent has shifted over time. I wouldn't, I wouldn't change it because I have grown being Wyatt's mother. And I think that I didn't pick special education and I didn't pick, Wyatt's disabilities, but I think special education kind of picked me. And that's, a reason as to why I chose to go into the career path that I am in, and also to grow and learn in my role as a parent, so that way I can learn as much as I can to be able to help Wyatt. So I just want to thank everybody for listening to my self-direction speech, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.